Marriage is a conversation and a journey all in its own, but we are having a conversation with the amazingly talented creators from the award-winning web series, Funny Married Stuff. Stay with us here on Black Hollywood Live.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey, 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 welcome to Black Hollywood Live's Conversations. As I mentioned already, we have amazingly talented creators behind the award-winning web series Funny Married Stuff, Lony'e and Peyton.
Hey, hey,
What's
Rounds
up?
of virtual applause. Thank you for that, Ryan.
Oh,
Yeah,
he looked it up. That's what I'm talking about. Can you come over later?
I know, exactly.
When I need that?
Right, just follow me everywhere I go.
Exactly.
Even for the jokes that aren't funny, just like
Right.
Oh, there
just
you
make
go.
it play.
Humor me.
Yeah,
No doubt.
humor us all. But yeah, we are talking funny married stuff. My husband and I, we were talking off air. My husband and I had the opportunity to see a screening of this. He fell in love. He's hard to please, but he was like, yo, I relate. I'm like, and I think everyone who hasn't seen this will see this. We'll play a short trailer for those who have not seen it. But to everyone who hasn't seen it yet, Funny Married Stuff, what can you tell some of those viewers on what they can expect?
Well, so I'm Peyton Perrine, one of the co-creators with my lovely, beautiful, talented wife over here,
Thank you,
Lony'e Peyton.
Kudos.
And yeah, so basically Funny Married Stuff is just about some of the relatable, funny, random things that happen in marriage. That's it.
Point blank.
Yeah.
You know, and
Point
there are
blank period.
situations that all people can relate to, especially if you're a parent, you know, not having privacy in the bathroom, or when your husband gets to be a certain age and he kind of loses his swag and he tries to get it back. You know,
I saw that.
little
bit.
tidbits
I took
like
one for
that.
the team. You know, all good. But in addition to that, we also like cover some topics related to like, all right, well, what does marriage look like when you're a little bit older, like when you're in your 60s, and you know, it's till death do us part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of me for nothing.
And,
You know what I'm
and the
saying?
journey to love. What does it look like when you're in single and you're looking for love? What does that look like? So we wanted to highlight that as well.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the dynamics, and I definitely noticed that. So if you are ready, Ryan, I would love to kind of intro the trailer to take a look at what we can expect.
Let's do it.
It's a season 2, right? A compilation of season 2?
Yes.
Got it right here for you guys.
Beautiful.
Alrighty.
Look at the dynamic of the cast, though. I can't wait to talk about them. They seem so absolutely amazing.
They are amazing.
Oh, okay. This is what we're going to open with. Oh, okay.
Courtesy flush?
Do you mind?
Not really.
So anybody who's been married for any extended period of time, they will be able to relate to this clip right here.
Absolutely.
And this is your son.
Yes.
The oldest, right?
Yeah,
Is
this
this
our
Peyton?
oldest son.
Yes.
Yeah, Peyton the third. We call him P3. Shout out to P3.
All right.
High saturated fat which raises blood cholesterol.
Shut up.
And that's our baby, Randy.
Our youngest. He ain't no baby.
He will always be my baby.
So obviously a little bathroom privacy.
Yeah. So in this clip here, it's pretty interesting. So this episode is called Black Therapy, and you know sometimes taboo
So
for
when do you guys want to schedule your next session?
Black folks to go to the therapist.
Doc Pruitt, thanks for your help, but black people don't need no therapy.
And for $250, I can get that prescription filled, download some slow jams, and have a sexy dinner delivered straight to my door.
All right now.
Yes.
Hey,
I love
we
this
gonna
couple.
They are absolutely amazing. Iris Little Thomas and Ellis Williams.
All right. I love it.
And Celeste Den as the therapist.
And this is the single phase
Yes.
of the journey, right? This is Nika.
Nika King.
Nika
Nika
King.
King.
Hilarious comedian.
Yes.
I love her aspect that she is the single, the single vision, like leading up into marriage. How do you
Absolutely.
find that partner and turn it into a marriage?
Yeah, and other
And the
fellow
struggle of-
comedian Terrence Lane, hilarious.
Yes.
This
I love
dude
it. I
is so
love
funny.
it.
You like? What?
Yeah.
And I can't wait to talk about them too. Dennis and Natalie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. This is amazing. I definitely want to bring it back and just talk about this amazing cast that was highlighted in this trailer. Let's talk. I want to talk on. Let's talk about Nika first, because I feel like that's the first step of getting to marriage. Like you go through the struggles of dating, going through struggles of trying to find your partner. Who are you vibing with? How do you know when this might be your long life partner? So how did you go about picking this cast, and starting with Nika first?
Actually, it's funny because the whole entire cast and majority of the crew, they're literally our family and friends. This project is truly a family affair.
Yep.
So Nika and I were at a retreat for church, literally, and we had been working on season 1. Peyton was writing it, and we had an idea for this character for her, and we were literally roommates. And I said, hey, Nika, we're doing this web series, and we have this role for you. Are you interested? She said, yes. I said, you haven't read it? She goes, no, absolutely, yes, I want to do it. So that's literally how our cast came about, us just calling up our friends and saying, hey, we have this idea.
That's amazing.
We think you'll be perfect. Do you want to do it? And they all said yes.
That's amazing. And they trusted. I mean, that says a lot about you guys, too. The fact that they've, having not read the script, they didn't know exactly what they were getting into, and they trusted that, you know what, this is going to be covered. This is going to be an amazing project.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it. So how does she fit into Funny Married Stuff as far as her role goes, being single, and how you guys use that to build? Because obviously this is called Funny Married Stuff.
Yes.
So when someone sees her on the web series, they're thinking, okay, well, why is her role there?
Right.
Why? What is she bringing to the table?
Yeah, so she's the hilarious girlfriend of Lony'e on the show, and it's a little bit of, we want to have a little bit of that rub of like Martin and Pam from the Martin show.
Gina,
you know what I mean?
Pam?
Yeah, Gina. Yeah. So just wanted to have a little bit of that dynamic, a little bit of the rub, and just allow her to go through her trials and tribulations of, how can I find the right man? Because everybody's relationship isn't going to look like Lony'e or I's or Dennis and Natalie's relationship. You know what I mean? So you got to find what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think so many single people can learn from a married show,
right?
Like, because so you know what to look for, you know the habits, and if you kind of look within yourself, like, oh, I do that a lot, maybe that won't be easy living with.
Yeah,
let's tweak this a little bit.
And then the whole idea of like doing life together, because when you think about your everyday life, you have friends who are married and who are not married, and you guys coexist together and you help each other.
Yeah,
and that's what we wanted this project to be, a conversation piece about the community living and growing and going through life together.
Yeah. What about the life of Natalie and Dennis?
Yes.
So they're married. They seem to be on the web series similar age, but obviously interracial couple.
Yes.
So were they chosen for that reason?
Well, Natalie's my best friend, and I think she's an absolutely hilarious actress.
Yes.
And the whole idea of the show came about when we were actually talking with them about, hey, it's so interesting how men and women think differently. And we were laughing about how marriage is hard and how there's so many divorces that are happening. And we said, hey, Peyton, why don't you write season 1? And he literally went off to write season 1 without
That's
even...
That's exactly what I said. I was like, hold on. I was like, I'm not a writer. Like, she's like, oh yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
So I was voluntold.
Yeah, he likes to say that.
Yeah,
that's
I was
okay.
voluntold.
Voluntold is okay.
Yes.
But when you have a strong woman behind you telling you that you can do
just
something.
Pushing hard.
Just pushing.
Just pushing.
Yes.
Encouraging. He's like, gun to the head. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Get out there, dude.
But for some reason, I just knew he could do it. He's such a funny guy, and I knew he could do it. And so Natalie and Dennis, they were already a couple that we had in mind for the show because they are funny in real life, and I love their energy and interaction with each other and how they interact with us, so I knew they would be perfect.
They have this bohemian, LA, relaxed vibe.
Absolutely.
And that is real life.
I was just about to say, is that
no doubt. That is
I
real
mean, the
life.
man bun and all. I was like, love this
Yes,
couple.
and that was one of the reasons, too, because everyone's marriage does not look like me and Peyton. Peyton and I are, well, I should say I am kind of like a list person. I'm organized. Peyton's all about having a schedule and being so specific about this and that. And then you have friends in your life who are different. And Natalie and Dennis, they have their own way of life, and it works for them. You know what I mean? So everybody's marriage looks different. And I wanted people to say or understand that don't let somebody tell you how your marriage should look or how it should be, because if it works for you, it works
and
for
your
you.
spouse.
And your
Yeah.
and
If
your
it works
spouse.
for you and your spouse, like
Then
that's all that
that's
matters.
it. That's all that
Yeah.
matters, you know? So
Yeah.
that was an important point that I really wanted to highlight with this series.
And within the series is the kind of the final couple, Ellis and Iris.
Yes.
Can
we
I
love
just
them.
say, there was a point, I think it was Burn the Box, the episode about Burn the Box. And I love that he was like, Uncle Skeeter was so upset. If you haven't seen it, everybody, like, please, I
Yes.
strongly encourage
Yes.
season 1, season 2. They're easy watches. It's absolutely funny.
Hoochie costumes.
Right. The go-go dancing costume. But I found it so funny because Uncle Skeeter was like it seemed to be packing his stuff. He was
Yes.
upset. And Auntie Iris was like, "You're packing? Okay, where are we going?" Right. Like, where are we going? Because you're packing a bag. Where are we going? And I love their dynamic. It's easy to say it seems that they've been married for years. So I take it that was such an important part of picking the cast.
Well, we have a funny little story to share. They're not married in real life.
Nope.
I was going to
They
ask.
are not married in real life.
Nope.
Now, they are literally like best friends. They grew up together more or less in like the theater industry in New
Wow.
York. But Auntie Pam, our Auntie Pam is married to Uncle Skeeter, who's Auntie Iris's best friend.
Well, Ellis Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Ellis Williams.
We
As
call him,
Uncle
we
Skeeter.
call him Uncle Skeeter.
Yeah.
Uncle Skeeter. I love it. And they're not, that blows my mind because
Yes.
their chemistry, so have they known each other, you said
Years.
years?
Believe it or not,
Years.
Ellis met Auntie Iris years ago before he met Pam, before he married his wife Pam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. What does Pam think of their dynamic and of this
Oh,
web
she
series?
loves it. And we talked to Uncle Skeeter or Ellis first and Auntie Pam about it because, you know, they're playing a married couple. Like, how do you
Right.
feel about that? And she loved it. She was like, let's do it.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
great.
And they're
So
hilarious
they're
together.
so
and
funny
such a good
together.
time on set for sure.
Does
Yeah.
Pam find ways of like feeding Iris like little ways of like, girl, this is how he is in real life?
Actually, no, because they've known each other for years.
Yeah, so it doesn't even
like,
matter. Iris knows
Oh,
Ellis
she
up and
knows
down.
him
Oh,
up
yeah.
and down.
Yeah.
That
It's so
is
perfect.
Amazing. I would have never I mean, that was literally one of my questions, like who's together, who's not, and them I would have never known.
Yep.
That
Oh, there you
that's
go.
absolutely amazing. So cast is amazing. The topics are even more amazing. Like it goes from like when you think of marital topics, like issues and what's important in just everyday life, you think of random things. Like people always go for the dramatic, like you know, infidelity and working
Right.
hard, like balancing life. But I love just the simple. Can I just get some time in the bathroom?
Yeah, please.
Like, how do you guys
Please.
come up with these?
Well, that's the reason why we came up with the show is
Right.
because a few years ago there were a whole bunch of like celebrity divorces and breakups that were happening, and we were talking about like that's not our relationship.
Right.
And the other thing is in the media, a lot of times, like especially for black marriage, is ratchet. It's cheating. It's
Or
you know,
baby
your
mama
baby
or a
mama.
deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
And that's not
And-
everybody's story.
And
Right.
in this industry, within this industry is that one of the highest divorce rates, like in acting and theater and
Yes.
film and
Right.
arts.
Absolutely.
It holds the highest weight of divorce rates. So yeah, that's
So
important.
so we wanted to make sure that we put some positive content out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And make sure that we tell the real stories of couples that love each other, that want to stay together, that want to raise a family and thrive with their friends together. So
Right.
that's what this
and
is about.
just real everyday topics.
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that are relatable and that people can get behind and say, oh my gosh, that was me last week. You know what I mean? Or that was me the other day when my kids were in the bathroom with me. I get no privacy. You know, we hear that so much and we wanted
Yeah.
people to see themselves in the characters on the show. And that was important.
Because
to us.
marriage ain't perfect,
No.
as you know.
Yeah.
There's ups and there's downs, but at
Yes.
the end of the day, you gotta wake up and make a conscious decision to
Yes.
say we go make this work. You
That's
know what I mean?
right.
I always say, Sydney and I say to choose love. Because
Yes.
you
There
you
have
go.
to intentionally
Yes.
be married. You
Yes.
can't just wake up and be like, I'm married and it's going to be great.
Right.
Like, I'm married today. You have to you have to think
Yes.
about that thing.
It's-
And
yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that. You have to be intentional on how
That's
you
right.
how you move about through the
Absolutely.
marriage. So
That's so true.
do you find yourself like throughout the day just picking up your phone like, oh, this is good for the show, and you just write
Oh
it
my
down?
gosh.
Like, is that life right now?
Well, we
Yeah.
that happens, but on top of it, we have like friends and people who've seen the show
Yes.
who hit us up and be like, "Oh, I got one for you," and it's like, "Oh, okay, no
I
doubt."
can
Like,
only imagine.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Only imagine. Are there any topics that you've been like maybe a little too difficult. Are there any topics that are off limits?
Not yet. Nothing has come up that is really off limits. For me, with season 2, I was excited to talk about erectile dysfunction. Like, that was something I really wanted to talk about because people don't realize when you're in your 60s, that's a huge hurdle. 60s and up in your marriage, and people are really going through it. We hear all these commercials on the radio, and
We, just to be clear, we ain't going through it. Just be clear.
Hold the phone. I need to work this out.
Because we've done some talks and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, I need to make sure I clarify so that our video viewers already know.
Hey,
there you go.
That's important.
I appreciate you saying that, and yes, I will look to camera. We're not having any of those issues.
No.
Peyton's like, I'll prove right now. Chest all out. Thank you for that clarification. No.
But seriously, as a couple, even
a lot of people do. Yeah.
We even think about when we're in our 60s or 70s, what will sex be like? Is it still the same? And so talking to Auntie Iris, and we were coming up with ideas, and she brought this topic up, and I said, we need to address this, but do it in a way that doesn't make people uncomfortable, make them laugh at it and say, okay, if I am having this situation, let me get some help and figure out how to handle it.
Yeah, we like to try and address real issues that married couples are going through. Put a little bit of sweet sugar, which is the comedy, in with the pill. You know what I mean? So that people can really digest it and understand what's going on.
Is that something that you guys do in an everyday life? Like if there's a topic or an issue between you two, that you kind of try to address it with the real and then the humor behind it? Because I feel like humor between two. So.
It's interesting. We both have very fun personalities, but one of the things that we learned when we first got married, and I'll never forget this, my father-in-law said at our wedding, he was like, never go to bed angry.
Shout out to Pops.
Yeah.
And we've never done that. We've literally, if something goes on, we have a moment, we talk about it and move on. You know what I mean? So that we don't harbor that. And, some of it is with humor. Some of it is with just let's sit down and talk about it. But I'm really proud about that part of our marriage.
Yeah. Oh, my baby. My baby.
He wants to give you a kiss so bad. Like, oh, Lord. But, okay, look, I might know, but our viewers may not. How did it start? You guys have been married for 15 years.
Yeah.
There you go.
15 years in
Anniversary this month. May 8th, you said off camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, looking at you two, and people probably would be like, what are they, like 25 and 30?
Yes.
Like,
She was 10.
25, absolutely, we're 25.
There you go.
We're gonna go with that.
And don't you mention anything. Like, how did you know, and how did you know? A lot of single people, obviously single people watch the show too, and it gives representation of that. A lot of questions that even me and Sydney get asked was, how the heck did you know that you wanted to turn this from girlfriend and boyfriend to husband and wife?
Wow. Well, it's interesting. I've had several moments. I had a moment when we were just hanging out as friends that I knew that he was someone I cared about. I had my car broken into, and when I was in Philadelphia, when I was in college, and I didn't even think to call my mom. I didn't call anybody else who lived in the area. That was my family. I called Peyton.
On a work night at like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, hello. But,
and like he
answered.
And he got in his car and he flew to come get me and to help me deal with the situation. Like,
wow.
I knew then that
Ryan is eating this up.
I love it. I knew then that he was someone I wanted to have a relationship with, but as the more we were together and the experiences that we had, I knew that he was the one because he was open, he was kind, he was giving, and he got me with all my flaws and everything. He loved everything about me.
Come on. There is no greater love than to love the ugly.
Yes.
That's deep, Peyton. So how did you know about lovely Lony'e?
It was probably around the same time. I mean, we met at this random bar in Philly on a 25-cent drink night.
Come on now, 25 cents.
And so that's way back in the day. But we met, we talked, and truth be told, I went up to the front of the line because she was there, and I was like, yo, it's only like 15 minutes left in 25-cent drink night. If I gave you some money, could you get me a drink? She was like, yeah, sure. I was like, okay. And I was like, hold up. They only a quarter. Why don't you just buy me a drink?
What? Hold on. You asked her to buy you a drink.
I had to test my Mac.
Oh, that's bold.
But let me jump in here.
That's
Let me just
bold.
jump in.
So finish the story up.
Let me just jump
Finish the story
in.
up.
He did say that, but he didn't put as much onto it as he did here. He was really nice and sweet about it. It wasn't like
course.
he was trying to map the
Anybody
situation.
would be.
But no, not a lot of guys from Philly. Let's be
I was
clear.
about to say, I'm familiar with the East Coast way
Exactly.
of hitting on women.
Exactly.
So.
So he approached me differently, and he was really nice the way he did it. And when I said no, what did I say? I said no to what? Oh, that I wouldn't buy him the drink.
Mm-hmm.
And then he smiled and looked at me, and then he put down $2 and bought me and my line sister drinks.
Baller.
Balling.
But I mean,
$2?
that's like a
come on now.
whole, 8 people?
Come on now. Come on
Buy
now.
a
I had to
round.
do what I had
Matter of
to do.
fact, buy 3 rounds,
There you go.
baby. Let me give you $6.
I had to make it happen.
I love it.
But honestly, I was very intrigued because back in the day, it was one or two things. It was either somebody was so excited that you was hollering at them, or they was so appalled. And she
yeah.
was like right in the middle. And I was like,
A happy medium.
I was like, interesting. So we actually exchanged numbers and we talked that night and we spoke every day since.
Wow.
Yeah.
And as far as the marriage goes, that's when you met. When did you know that you were going to turn this into a marriage?
So I would say we got real serious probably about year and a half, 2 years in.
Okay.
But I had something major that happened. So me and my buddy were living in an apartment and our apartment got burnt down. And I lost everything except for my car and my clothes on my back. And she was there, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I felt bad because I knew she was starting to give me little hints. But I was like, yo, I gotta get myself right. You know what I mean? So
That's another topic in itself.
Yes.
So, like, men feel like they have to have everything to get married,
yes.
and women are like, we created
Exactly.
together.
Teamwork.
That's my 2 cents.
But I
into
had
into
nothing.
Webster.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
touche.
like, yeah.
touche.
So you know. But
Wow,
no,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So we kind of knew.
So she was there to return the favor.
Oh, yeah.
Superwoman, Superman. Like, you both had that superhero moment, and you just knew that it was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, look at the love.
You going down memory lane, girl.
Words of affirmation up in here. You guys talk about, obviously, marriage. I love that you bring cultural issues, cultural topics into it as well. The seeds, the little tidbits. How important is that to you? Because it's obviously, it speaks through the show. I definitely noticed it and loved it, by the way. So how intentional and how important is it to focus on that also?
Very intentional. I feel like any platform that you have, you need to speak up for the things you believe in. And so for us, if we're going to have this platform to do this show, we're going to talk about topics that are important to us, like Black Lives Matter, and things like that, and interracial marriage, and, things that I feel like we should see more in the media, that a lot of times Hollywood wants to not talk about or, erase it. And we don't have to go through any gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers. So if we have an idea, we want to put it out there.
And on top of that, we want to set like an example. I can't tell my boys, my 2 amazing boys, Peyton and Randy, one thing, but then my actions are not congruent. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that we kind of walk in the walk and talk in the talk.
Absolutely.
So.
That's amazing. I think that foundation is ridiculously important. And I know you didn't have your kids in season 1. Kids are in season 2.
Well, they had a little voiceover part in season 1. But
I heard that part.
Yeah,
How are they loving that, being involved in season 2?
Yucking it up like crazy. Like
love
they
it.
They talking spin-off show.
Oh, no.
So
our oldest son has a spin-off show idea that we're really considering.
Yeah.
Come on. Well, you said the oldest, P3?
Yes.
Come on, P3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be another youngest executive producer out here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we are definitely all about trying to support our kids' goals, dreams, and aspirations. So
that's beautiful.
if we can make it happen, we will make that happen.
But what was funny when we were doing our posters for all the web series, the festivals that we've been attending, and my oldest son saw the poster and he's like, "Oh, that's nice." He goes, "But where am I?"
Like dead serious.
I'm so sorry, son. Like we will edit you.
And I literally explained it. So, well, these are the leads. He goes, well, when this show gets put on TV, I want to be
Come
a
on
series
now.
regular, and I want to be on the poster. And then he
Let's
looked at me,
go.
and then he walked away. And I said, well, there you have it.
About face. Bam.
Best
Yeah.
and walk away. Okay.
No
well,
more
look,
conversation needed, Mom. Like,
he's manifesting and speaking his own into this. So,
Yes.
so ultimately, is that the end? Is that the goal? I won't even say end goal because I strongly believe that things are ever changing, ever growing.
Absolutely.
But what is the next step for Funny Married Stuff? What would you like? I know you're up for. We'll talk about how busy you guys
Yeah.
have been for the last couple of weeks. Like,
Right.
we'll definitely highlight on that. But what do you want out of this web series?
I want it to be a conversation piece that is not just on a web, like it is right now, but I want it to be on television. I want it to grow from, these 6 to 7 minute episodes to a half-hour show where we can talk about the topics we want to address, based on, these amazing, interesting characters in this world that we've created, for Funny Married Stuff, and get the messages out there and to show positive imagery, not perfect, but positive imagery about marriage.
Yeah. Peyton is like, that's enough.
I mean, that's it. Come on, man. I'm
That's
just
it.
backing my woman up. I got your back, baby. I got your back.
Well, you guys have been ridiculously busy these last few weeks,
Yes.
from attending festivals to winning awards
Yes.
and traveling. You
Yes.
mentioned you were like in Paris and London and halfway across the world.
Yeah.
Anything you guys can share over the last few weeks, what you guys have been doing?
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. We, I guess, have been submitting and attending and winning some festivals, so that's pretty
Alright
cool. We were nominated for 5 Indie Series Awards.
Yes, we were
and-
nominated for 5 Indie Series Awards, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
We were nominated for 3 awards at the New York Web Festival. We were nominated and recently won at the Miami Web Fest. We won Best Sketch Comedy there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. We won Best Web Series at the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, and we screened at the Pan-African Festival. We're waiting back from 5 other festivals to hear from, and it's been an amazing journey because when you do a project, you want to get your baby out there. You want to get your voice out there, and so you never know what you're going to expect submitting it. But the feedback we've been getting, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional, from the fans has been amazing. People of all walks of life, all, ethnicities, just come up to us constantly and say, I see myself in these characters. And it's amazing because they're told majority through, Black actors. And for me, that's been amazing. And to say, oh, it's relatable, we love it. Oh, my kids have done that, or my husband has done that, or my wife has done that. That's been the most amazing reward we could have gotten. And so, getting these actual awards have been really cool, but what's really exciting, I have to say,
Come on now.
is
Come
that
on now.
out of all of that, the biggest thing right now for us is that we are up for consideration. I can't even say it.
I gotta let her get it out first.
Yeah, there you go.
Up for consideration for Outstanding Web Series, basically in the short form category for the Emmys. Yes.
Yeah.
And you
on-
yourself too,
yeah,
right?
On top of that, Lony'e is up for consideration for outstanding actress, which she is, in a short form comedy or drama.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
He's like, I need to, not just outstanding actress, outstanding wife. He's like, let me be the one to
There you
say
go.
this. That is amazing.
It really is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How can people support that?
Oh, absolutely. They can do, if you are a Television Academy member specifically, you can check us. You can see all the web series episodes on our Facebook page.
Okay.
They can also go to funnymarriedstuff.com/FYC, where they can see all these amazing stats on our show, where they can also see a sizzle reel, and they can, of course, see our information on the For Your Consideration platform for the Television Academy.
Right.
And they can consider us on the ballot, which comes out June 10th.
And,
Right around the corner.
Yeah. So, and if we're,
That's huge.
in that category and we make the nod, that would do wonders for helping us get on TV. So,
Absolutely.
any Television Academy members, take a look. Vote for us. We
Shout
would love
out.
it.
Yes, we would
Shout
love that.
out.
And so it's really cool. And if you are not a Television Academy member, you can still support us. You can share our posts. You can share our episodes. Tell a friend who's a Television Academy member about our show
And
that
like
we're
us
on
on
the
Facebook.
ballot.
Like us on Facebook too.
Exactly. Like us on Facebook.
Comment all of that. Like,
Yes.
I know there are tons. I'm talking to you guys, our viewers. I know good and well, single, married, young, old, it does not matter. I know good and well there is somebody out there that you can connect to on this show. And if there isn't, comment and let them know what you like to see on the show. Like anything, like share, comment. It's such an amazing web series. Like I can only imagine the journey.
Yeah.
You guys we talked about it. You guys have been together 15 years. You're doing this together. Everyone says people, they.
Yes.
They is like the
They.
Right.
they is like the biggest enemy. They say that working together is so difficult. And you guys obviously have to work together to make this happen. How do you overcome? Lony'e's on it like, woo, child.
So it's really funny, right? Because Lony'e and I are opposites, right? But it works.
Yes.
And she's a working actress out here in Hollywood, right? She's been honing her craft over the last several years, just putting in the work. Which is
I
why
feel like
we
I've
moved out
seen
here.
a commercial. What's the latest commercial I saw? John Cena, Hefty?
Yes.
Was that you?
That was me.
Hilarious. Like I knew you guys just
Right.
like personally and just like watching Funny Married Stuff. But then I saw that commercial and I was like, is that Lony'e? Okay, working actor.
Yes.
Come on, girl.
So
But-
that's her thing. But I work for a technology company on my day to day.
Really, me too.
Yeah. So so basically, I got to make sure that I'm holding it down on
Yeah.
the daily, and then sometimes it's a little tough when I've had a long day at work or something like that, or things haven't gone perfect. But we still figure it out
Absolutely.
and work through it.
It's a
and make sure that
balance,
we-
you know, and once you understand your spouse, you understand how to work with them, and it's trial and error. There's some days where I'm like, we got to do this, we got to do that. But I look at him and I said, okay, he's had a really crazy day at work. I need to address this in a different manner or wait until tomorrow. Or once you know your spouse, you can finagle how to work with them. And he is the best person, honestly, to work with on this project because one, clearly it's about marriage, but two, he has really, really great ideas, and I love his ideas, and we just, I don't know, we work well together. But what was interesting for season 2, Nika King was also a producer for that. So we had
Wow.
a third, energy
Producer.
and producer to.
She was also a writer
Yes.
as well. So
I saw it switched up the game a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as well as Leah Martin was also a writer on season 2 as well. Because I realized with my workload and the kids and schedules and marriage,
Can be a
I just
lot.
I just didn't have the bandwidth to write the entire season, and I also wanted to have like different perspectives
Yes.
as
Yes.
well to bring into the fold for some of the episodes, and it worked out really well.
It did.
So
It really
It
did.
did.
And and with coming off of season 1, we had an amazing Kickstarter campaign that allowed us to actually have some money for season 2.
shout out to all our bays. Thank
Yes,
you very
thank
much
you
for
for all
hooking
the
us up.
supporters.
Yes.
And that allowed us to have a writer's room, and to have, a bigger crew for our director, who's Roger Melvin, who's amazing. And we had a bigger crew. Everything was just bigger. We had more locations because we had money. So shout out to all the cast and crew. Thank you guys for all of your hard work to
Yes.
make season 2 absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Season 3.
Well, if I have it, the way that I would like.
If we have it, it's gonna be a television platform.
I must say it's
Just claiming it.
televised.
Yeah.
Claiming it.
Season 1 for TV.
Yes.
Like, we'll just
Absolutely.
say.
That's the goal.
We'll
Absolutely.
say starting fresh, that fresh foundation.
Yes.
There you go.
Sometimes it's an amazing thing.
Yes, absolutely. After this, this Emmy win. Oh, this nomination, then the Emmy win.
Both
Damn.
wins, by the
Damn.
way.
There you go.
Both wins, by the way. Speak that 100%.
Yes.
Having gone through and grown through this series together, what would you say, right now, Peyton, what would you say is kind of a progress, what Lony'e has grown through and what you have learned the most about her through this experience working together?
I think that it's pretty amazing to see my wife, if she puts her mind to it, she can do anything. She can teach herself anything.
Oh.
And as you know, actors, producers, writers, content creators, like, you have to wear a lot of hats. And on days where, like, I'm like, babe, I'm sorry, I got to work. Like, she's putting on multiple hats to push the pile forward, and I commend you and thank you for that. That's amazing.
Thank you, baby.
So, yeah.
Your turn, girlfriend. You better give kudos to the Peyton.
She like, he feed me.
They gotta make it. That's a deep love.
Right.
You're joking, but we were talking off air. Sometimes y'all's food tastes a whole lot better than ours, and I heard you're a pretty good cook. So
He's amazing with breakfast. Like, honestly, I know the kids prefer his breakfast over mine.
waffles for dinner, yay!
But my dinners and my lunches are on point.
All right now.
But I would have to say for Peyton, he completely stepped out of his comfort zone. I mean, completely.
Wow.
To do this idea that we had. And he says, okay, I'm all right. He's never written before, but I'm going to do it. And he's grown to love it, you know? So.
And I wasn't supposed to act in this project either.
He wasn't.
By the way.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted him. Actually, it was Natalie and Dennis when we were talking to them, and we were like, yeah, we got to find a guy to play my husband. And they were like,
Why?
Peyton, you know, and then Peyton's like, well, I don't know. And we really had to convince him. And I'm so glad that he did. It's been a great experience to go through this with him and to see him grow, still growing as a writer and as an actor. And it's just really cool to see what happens in life when you say yes to something that's completely outside of your comfort zone. So I'm really proud of you for that.
So now, like, a couple years ago, Lony'e did this year of yes, right? Where she was like, I need to step out of my comfort zone.
Every
so she was
month.
doing, like, every month she was doing something that was, like, on her bucket list. And I think since then, it's been a catalyst where we've definitely kind of started to step out of our comfort zones.
Oh my God,
to do stuff.
the web series was on that bucket list.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, what are some things that you push? And the web series was one of them.
One of
What was
them.
your reservation? What were you most worried about?
Well, you know, as an actor, you get used to auditioning and booking things.
Yeah.
You do, you know, and you start thinking, am I capable of creating a show? Am I capable
Yes.
of producing a show? Can I
Yes.
do that and act? And I'm a mom, I have 2 kids. Can I do that? These are the questions, you
Wow.
know, as a woman who's in this industry and who's a parent have. And I said, you know what? Absolutely. I can create a show. You know,
course you
I can
can.
do it, you know, with 2 kids.
You got
know?
superpowers. Of course you can.
He's like
know?
that good angel on the other side.
Right.
Like, yes, you can.
And so
Absolutely.
doing this,
I love it.
it was exciting and it was great that he was able to do it with me. But what made it even more amazing too, like our friends and our family, they literally rallied around this idea and this belief of this project that we were creating, and everybody took a part in it. You know, that's why I love to call this project, it really is a family affair, from family back home donating money to our Kickstarter, to our friends producing, writing, acting, giving us free locations, you know, and
Love
all
free
those,
resources.
you know, and getting food from the different businesses in our neighborhood for free, you know, to feed our cast. And I'm just very, very grateful that I said yes to that point of my life, and now it's been a catalyst for so many other things.
Yeah.
Were you at all worried about putting your marriage? Because this is a conversation that my husband and I have had. We're in the industry, and we're at that point where it's something about showing people need to see that marriage is possible.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people want it, but they don't really realize that is so worth the hard work. So
Right.
we think a lot of people need to see great marriages and great examples. So one thing that we kind of in this industry thought about was putting your marriage on blast to survey a message.
Yeah.
Were you at all worried about that? And if you were, how did you overcome that part?
Yeah, so I think season 1, I was just writing from majority personal, like loosely based on personal experience. Season 2, I think we put a little bit more structure and thought behind like what were some of the messages, relatable messages that we were trying to put out there. But as far as, I look at it like this, you only put your marriage on blast if you're doing shiesty stuff. So,
Right.
you know,
Touche.
I
Right.
ain't shiesty. My
Right.
wife ain't shiesty.
Right.
The people that we roll with aren't shiesty. So,
Right.
you know, it's just a matter of, okay, it's a challenge. How can you overcome the challenge, and how can you do it with love and compassion and humor, which is what the show is about.
Absolutely.
What you guys do so
Excellently
ridiculously well.
said.
Thank you.
I know we're getting closer to time, but I do want to ask different phases of marriage. Have you guys thought about that? Is there anything that you haven't tackled in season 2 that you would like to see in season 1 on TV? What's another?
That sounds so amazing.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Funny
that.
Married Stuff season 1
Come on now.
pilot episode 1
Yes.
on X Network.
Yes, I
Gotta
love
say.
it.
Are there any other phases that you guys have thought about that you haven't tackled just yet?
Yeah, I mean, like we have so many ideas. Like
Have a
we mentioned,
list.
yeah, we are keeping
Oh,
a
good.
running list. We've already mapped out like the first couple seasons of like different ideas that we
yes.
have for
The
the
TV
show
version
For
of
the
show.
TV.
Yeah, the TV version.
For TV,
of the show.
got it.
Yeah. And
All you
so-
televised networks out there, preparation is king.
Yes.
We come with preparation.
Yes.
I like it. Good.
So I mean, there's a lot of relevant topics that are the journey has been from many years to like relevant topics for just today that we're ready to address for sure.
Well, and for me, one I mentioned one specifically. I want to really highlight the dynamic between a black man and his sons. That is so important. That
It
is so important.
needed.
So important, and that's definitely going to be something that we highlight heavily for
That's
the
amazing.
television version
The televised
of the
version.
show.
Televised.
As we put our DJ voices on to get real serious up in here.
And up next is Funny Married Stuff.
Quiet storm. No, just kidding.
8/7 Central on.
I love it.
Said network.
I love one thing that stood out to me as far as like a phase that actually my husband recommended. He was like, dang, do you remember how tough it was to just be engaged? And that, like, you guys, another 2 cents. I think I got like 4 cents into this
there
thing
you
for
go, there you
ideas.
go, there you go.
But that phase was so difficult. If you remember, like, we were engaged for 2 years. We actually pushed our date back.
Wow, that's a long engagement.
It's a lot of people say that. Like we had a date in mind, came close to that date, and we changed our date for our own reasons. Reasons that don't necessarily need to be told, but
Right.
we have our own story, and we were like, look, if we are going into this thing, we need to be sure. So that phase, I feel like the moment that I said yes and he asked, we learned so that's like when you're like, oh crap, this is just got real.
Yes.
That's when you learn so much.
Yes, it's
And
true.
Everything that they do, you start to question, can I deal with this for the rest of my
yes.
life? They breathe. Oh, can I deal with that breath for the rest of my life?
Or they like to leave little pieces of paper all over the table after I've cleaned it up. Yeah, can I live with that?
Protein shake stuff just all. I feel like that paper was a jab
y'all
towards
sit
you.
up here putting stuff out there. Okay.
He's like, hold on now.
Okay. Hey,
I had to deal with you eating off my
I'm
plate.
gonna call Sid for that engagement episode. You and him might have to make a personal appearance, and I'm
Lord.
gonna get some real stuff from him.
I gotta
There you
pray.
go.
I gotta pray on us putting our relationship on blast. Like, can we deal with this? But we're not sketchy, so bring it.
That was hilarious.
I love it. I can't wait to support you guys because my husband and I fell in love with the series the first time
You
that we
already
watched it.
are, so
Yes,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Already are. So for everyone who has not watched it, please watch it. It is absolutely amazing. Facebook page.
Yes.
Comment, like, share. Where can they find you guys to support you in every way possible on social media?
Yes, they can find us on Facebook at Funny Married Stuff. You can find us on Instagram at Funny Married Stuff.
Come on.
And you are hilarious. And if you are a Television Academy member, you can check us out on our website, specifically on our FYC page to check us out for, what are the 2 categories again, Peyton? Just one more time for him.
Well, my wife is nominated for Outstanding Actress in a short form comedy or drama series.
And the show is up for consideration for Outstanding Short Form or Drama Series. So check us out, guys.
Come on, words of affirmation. And what about you, Peyton, where can they find you? On social medias?
Well, you didn't say your handle.
Oh, yes, at Lony'e
yes.
Perrine on Instagram. Check me out, y'all.
Yeah, I'm at Pizmoney, Pizmoney on Instagram.
I love it.
There you go.
Well, you guys can find me, Takira Shabrae, on Instagram and Twitter at Takira_Shabrae. And remember to follow Black Hollywood Live at BHL Online. Subscribe, comment, share.
There you go.
Comment if you haven't seen the show, watch the show. And if you see it on TV, when you see it on TV, watch the pilot, get the ratings up.
Yes.
But comment, let us know how you like this interview. It was absolutely amazing talking to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
us.
it.
When you come on, when you're televised and we're doing an after show
Yes.
here on
there
AfterBuzz
you go.
TV,
Yes.
we will have you back and we'll talk about
Absolutely.
it.
Of course.
So, until then, thank you guys for tuning in to Conversations on Black Hollywood Live.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content. And be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.